Now, there are just over 2 weeks to go until the Olympics gets underway in Paris. I'm very pleased to say that Molly Thompson-Smith, who will represent Team GB in climbing, has joined me in the studio. Molly, great to see you. Congratulations for making the team. I really want to get into it, but we have to talk a little bit about the football, first of all. Were you watching the game last night? What did you make of it all?
I was watching. It was, so exciting. My housemates and I were just all stood in front of the TV and we all just screamed when we scored at the end.
And can they do it on Sunday?
I think it's coming home.
Brilliant. Let's talk about you. That's why you're here. How excited are you about Paris?
Unbelievably excited. It's been a long old journey to get here and I missed out on qualifying for Tokyo. So yeah, to be competing for GB, representing everyone across the channel in Paris, I'm just so excited.
Tell us a little bit about that journey to qualify, because you've actually only recently found out that you have definitely qualified.
Yeah, so it was a long process. Qualification technically started at the beginning of last year, but I only found out I qualified a few weeks ago. So, you know, it's been thinking about this moment even beyond last year. I've been dreaming of going to the Olympics since being a little girl, and obviously trying to qualify for Tokyo too. And then, yeah, from dreaming to, okay, it's actually real, and now it's happening in less than a month's time. It's been quite a wild ride.
Yeah. What are the plans then between now and Paris?
So I've got quite a lot of training to do, obviously. I'm going to stick around at home, I think, just because it is such a tight turnaround. I'll be going out for the opening ceremony, which will be exciting. As my first Olympics, I just wanted to experience as much of it as I could. But yeah, training at home in Sheffield and in London, and yeah, doing my best.
Yeah, we're watching some footage of you now. I mean, climbing only became an Olympic sport in the last Games in Tokyo. Tell us a little bit more about how you actually got into the sport.
So I actually started at my own birthday party when I was 7 in London. Grew up in a super urban household. My parents don't climb now, they're actually scared of heights. But I just decided to give climbing a go, and I was just hooked from the get-go and haven't really stopped since, apart from injuries along the way that I've unfortunately picked up. But yeah.
Yeah, what is it about it that hooked you?
I think it's just such a unique sport, like such a unique way of moving, and so mentally demanding as well as physically. People often talk about the problem-solving element of climbing, and they're spot on. Often, you know, the best climber in the world might not win because they just can't see the solution, and so it's really interesting and cool to be challenged in so many different ways, whether it's how strong you are or how technically able you are, or just, you know, whether you can concentrate and see and find the solution on the wall.
Yeah, and the brilliant thing about the Olympics is we are introduced to so many sports that people perhaps don't know a lot about. Very simply, how do you win a medal in climbing at the Olympics?
So we have 2 sets of medals this time, the first being for speed climbing, and that is literally just a race up a 15-metre wall. Fastest person wins. And then the second set of medals are for the combined element, which is boulder and lead. And for bouldering, it's how many times you can get to the top of the boulder wall, and then for lead climbing, it's how high you can get up the lead wall. So you collect points along the way, and the person with the most points wins.
And you get to practice on the wall before you do it?
So for boulder and lead, you have never seen these climbs before in your life. You've never tried them before, and you'll never try them again. And that's also a reason why it's super addicting to be part of climbing.
Yeah. You've spoken a lot about a lack of diversity in the sport. Are you hoping to inspire more athletes to get involved in climbing?
For sure. I'm hoping that I can be the person that a little boy or a little girl or even an adult can see on TV and think, oh yeah, maybe actually I could be part of the climbing community. Maybe this could be a sport for me, because as a young girl, I didn't really have that when I was looking into the climbing world. And so for me, one of my main goals in Paris is to, be visible, represent the underrepresented background that I come from in climbing, and hopefully inspire a new audience to try it out.
And we also know that you're incredibly close to your dad. Tell us a little bit about him, your relationship, and how important he's been on your journey to Paris.
Oh, my dad has been there from the very beginning. He's always believed in me, of course, but he drove me up and down the country. He's followed me around the world, even to Japan, to watch me compete. And anytime, you know, things don't go well, I call up my dad and he gives me a pep talk and just reminds me of my why, which I think is super important for athletes. And he'll be there supporting me in Paris. And he was there when I found out I qualified as well, and it was just the most amazing, precious moment.
Brilliant. I like to get a little bit of an insight into athletes' lives out in Paris. Who are your kind of best friends within Team GB? Who are you going to be hanging out with when you do have a little bit of downtime?
So I'm new to Team GB, obviously, but I do have quite a few friends part of Team GB who I met when I was a Sky Scholar quite a few years ago, and it'll be so nice to kind of have a reunion with all of those Scholar friends that I made during my time here and see them all out there. I think pretty much all of them have already been to an Olympics before, so it would be nice to maybe for them to show me the ropes and yeah, just hang out in the village and go and support their sports as well, because I think it's been quite a few years since I last saw them too.
And have you set some targets for Paris? Do you have a goal? What are your hopes?
I've not really set any strict targets. I think just getting there was such an achievement because it's only 20 athletes across the entire world that get to compete in climbing. And I suffered from an ankle fracture and dislocation just 18 months ago. So the big goal was to get there, and now that I'm going, I just hope that I can climb my best, showcase the 20 years I've been climbing and all that hard work that I've put into it, and yeah, hopefully inspire a new audience to give it a go.
Molly, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming in, and really wish you all the best for the Paris Olympics.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.